There's a specific kind of regret that hits about 6 months into owning a very smart dog. It's not the chewed furniture, though that happens. It's not the escaped yard, though that happens too. It's the moment you realize the dog has learned your entire daily routine, figured out which behaviors get rewarded and which ones don't, and has quietly been making decisions about what rules apply to it and what rules don't. You didn't train the dog. The dog trained you, and you didn't even notice until it was already done. Intelligence in dogs is not the same thing as easy to own. The smartest breeds on Earth are also among the most exhausting. Dogs that need a job, need stimulation, and will absolutely find their own projects if you don't provide them first. Some of those projects involve your couch. Here's the official intelligence ranking, based on Dr. Stanley Coren's landmark research evaluating obedience and working intelligence across over 100 breeds, and the honest ownership reality that comes with each one. Number 1 on this list, it doesn't just learn commands, it anticipates them. Number 10, Australian Cattle Dog. The Australian Cattle Dog closes out the top 10, and it earns its place in a way that most people completely underestimate. This isn't a dog that scores high on intelligence rankings by being easy to train. It scores high because it is relentlessly, exhaustingly resourceful. Bred to herd cattle across brutal Australian terrain for 12 hours a day, with minimal human instruction, the cattle dog developed problem-solving ability that operates independent of commands. It figures things out. Fences, door handles, the sequence of events that leads to a walk. It maps all of it and uses what it finds. At 35 to 50 pounds, it's compact, but the energy output per pound is almost insulting. Skip a day of serious exercise, and it will redecorate. Skip 2, and you'll find out exactly how creative it can get with boredom. Don't get an Australian cattle dog if your idea of exercise is a 20-minute walk around the block. That's not a workout for this dog. That's a warm-up. Number 9, Rottweiler. The Rottweiler's intelligence surprises people who've already decided it's just a guard dog. It's not. Rottweilers rank in the top 10 specifically because of their working intelligence, the ability to learn complex tasks quickly and execute them reliably under pressure. Police and military forces don't use a breed for protection work if it can't think. The Rottweiler thinks. Constantly. It reads body language with unsettling accuracy, assesses situations before reacting, and retains commands with very few repetitions compared to most breeds. The honest flaw that intelligence creates here, a Rottweiler that isn't mentally occupied becomes a Rottweiler that makes its own decisions about what to occupy itself with. At 80 to 135 pounds, those decisions are harder to reverse than they would be in a smaller dog. Perfect for someone who wants a capable, trainable partner. A poor fit for someone who wants a dog that switches off when the training session ends. Number 8. Papillon. The Papillon is the entry on this list that makes people do a double take. It's a tiny butterfly-eared toy breed, and it ranks above the Rottweiler. Here's the thing. Intelligence rankings measure learning speed and command retention, not physical capability. The Papillon learns new commands in fewer than 5 repetitions and obeys known commands on the first attempt over 95% of the time. Those numbers match or exceed breeds 3 times its size. It dominates agility competitions against dogs that look far more athletic. It solves puzzle toys that stump much larger dogs. The honest ownership reality is that the Papillon's intelligence, crammed into a 5 to 10 pound body, produces a dog that is simultaneously delightful and relentless. It wants to work. It wants stimulation. Treat it like a decorative lapdog, and it will develop the kind of anxious, yappy behavior that gives small dogs a bad reputation. Treat it like the working dog it actually is, and you'll get one of the most engaging companions on this list. Number 7. Labrador Retriever. The Labrador sits at number 7, and honestly, it probably deserves more credit than that ranking suggests. Labs are so consistently good-natured that their intelligence gets taken for granted. They're the dog that figures out where the treats are kept within the first week of arriving in your home. They're the dog that learns to open the cabinet. They learn to read the signs that a walk is coming, you picking up your keys, lacing specific shoes, and react before you've said a word. What makes the Lab's intelligence distinct is its emotional intelligence. It reads people exceptionally well, which is why it dominates guide dog, therapy dog, and search and rescue programs globally. It's not just learning commands, it's learning you. The honest flaw? That same emotional attunement makes Labs deeply prone to separation anxiety. A dog this socially intelligent does not do well alone for long stretches. It's built for companionship, and the absence of it is something it registers and reacts to. Number 6. Shetland Sheep Dog. The Sheltie is the most underrated dog on this list, and it isn't close. Consistently ranking in the top 5 for obedience intelligence, the Shetland Sheep Dog learns new commands in under 5 repetitions and executes them with a reliability that working dog trainers describe as almost mechanical. It's a small dog, 15 to 25 pounds, with the working capacity of a full-sized herding breed, which is exactly what it is. The miniaturization didn't touch the brain. Here's what nobody tells you before getting one. The Sheltie's intelligence comes with a vocal intensity that surprises most first-time owners. It barks to communicate, to alert, to express an opinion about what's happening outside the window, and occasionally just to participate in the general energy of a room. That's a feature of a herding dog, not a flaw. But in an apartment with thin walls, it becomes a conversation you'll be having with your neighbors, whether you want to or not. Number 5. Doberman Pincher. The Doberman belongs in the top 5 of this list, and the average dog owner's underestimation of it is one of the more consistent blind spots in popular dog culture. Dobermans are fast learners with a working memory that trainers describe as almost eerie. They retain commands introduced months ago with the same reliability as commands practiced yesterday. They were originally bred to be the personal protection companion of a tax collector who needed a dog that could think independently in threatening situations. That origin story shaped everything about the breed's cognitive profile. At 60 to 100 pounds, the Doberman is athletic, sleek, and deeply bonded to its person in a way that produces a dog that is almost uncomfortably aware of your emotional state. It notices when something is wrong before most people would say anything. That sensitivity is its greatest asset, and the source of its most common behavioral problem, which is anxiety in environments that don't provide the stimulation and structure it needs. Number 4. Golden Retriever. The Golden Retriever sits here, and some people will be surprised it ranks this high, and others will be surprised it isn't higher. Both reactions are valid. Goldens are exceptional learners with a people-reading ability that rivals the Labrador. But what pushes them into the top 4 is their adaptability. They adjust their behavior to the energy of the room, the emotional state of the person they're with, and the demands of the task at hand. They're used as guide dogs, therapy dogs, search and rescue dogs, and detection dogs simultaneously, which is a range of cognitive demands almost no other breed handles equally well across all categories. The honest ownership reality, a Golden's intelligence is inseparable from its need for human connection. This isn't a dog that tolerates solitude. It's a dog that was built for partnership, and the absence of that partnership shows up as destructive behavior, excessive barking, and the general chaos of a very smart animal with nothing to do and nobody to do it with. Number 3. German Shepherd. The German Shepherd sits at number 3, and it's earned every position of that ranking through a century of documented working performance across more professional disciplines than almost any other breed. Police work, military deployment, search and rescue, guide dog service, herding, personal protection, detection. The German Shepherd doesn't just perform in one category. It performs at a high level in all of them simultaneously, which is the most reliable real-world measure of intelligence that exists outside a laboratory. At 50 to 90 pounds, it learns a new command in fewer than 5 repetitions and obeys on first request over 95% of the time. What that means in practice: a German Shepherd trained for 6 months has more reliable command vocabulary than most dogs accumulate in a lifetime. The honest flaw that comes with that brain: German Shepherds don't coast. They don't find equilibrium in a low-stimulation environment and settle. They escalate. An understimulated German Shepherd becomes a destructive one, then an anxious one, then a reactive one, in a progression that's entirely predictable and entirely preventable, but only if the owner understood what they were signing up for at the beginning. Number 2. Poodle. The Poodle, at number 2, is the entry that produces the most comments every single time this list gets published, because people see the haircut and forget what's underneath it. The Poodle was not bred as a lapdog. It was bred as a working retriever, specifically a waterfowl retriever in Germany, and the intelligence required for that job shaped a brain that consistently ranks as one of the 2 most capable in the domestic dog world. The Poodle learns new commands in fewer than 5 repetitions. It problem solves. It reads emotional cues. It remembers. It adapts its approach when the first strategy doesn't work. That last part, adapting when the first strategy fails, is what separates the top 2 breeds from everything else on this list. Most dogs repeat a failed approach. The Poodle tries something different. That's not a small distinction. The honest ownership reality. In all 3 size variants, standard, miniature, and toy, the Poodle's intelligence produces a dog that needs structured mental engagement the same way it needs physical exercise. Puzzle toys, training sessions, new environments. Without those inputs, you don't get a relaxed Poodle. You get a bored one, which is a completely different animal. Number 1. Border Collie. There was never really a competition for this spot. The Border Collie sits at the top of every serious canine intelligence ranking ever published. Coren's research, working dog evaluations, academic cognition studies, and the gap between it and the number 2 breed is not trivial. A Border Collie named Chaser learned the names of over 1,000 individual objects and could retrieve them by name on command. Not categories, individual objects, 1,000 of them. That's not a trick. That's a cognitive capacity that researchers spent years documenting because it exceeded what they expected was possible in a non-human animal. At 30 to 55 pounds, the Border Collie was developed in the Scottish-English border region to herd sheep across vast terrain with nothing but eye contact and body language from a handler who might be half a mile away. That required a dog that could anticipate, plan, problem-solve in real time, and make independent decisions under pressure. The intelligence isn't incidental to the breed. It is the breed. Here's the uncomfortable truth that every Border Collie owner eventually confronts. This is not a dog you can keep up with casually. It needs hours of genuine mental and physical work every single day. Not a walk, not fetch in the backyard. Structured, purposeful, cognitively demanding activity. Owners who underestimate that find out quickly and expensively what a bored Border Collie does with the gap. This is the dog cat for people who want a partner that is always ahead of the conversation. It's not for people who want a dog that follows. It's for people who can keep up. Here's the through line across every breed on this list. Intelligence is not a feature that comes free. It comes with requirements. It comes with energy and restlessness and a constant need for something to do. The dogs that learn fastest are also the dogs that notice every gap in your routine, every inconsistency in your training, every moment you gave in when you shouldn't have. They remember all of it. So if your dog is on this list, drop it in the comments and tell me honestly, did the intelligence make your life better, or did it make your dog the one running things? Because I've heard both answers in equal measure, and I want to know which one you got.